Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Woodland Reboot. It is an exciting couple of days. We are installing the trusses here at the 32 by 48 pole barn shop that I'm building, self-build. Today, however, or the next couple of days, I have my dad helping out with the installation of these trusses. He's the one up there in the basket on the man lift. So I hope you want to stick around and see what installing trusses is all about out at the Woodland Reboot. This is the truss delivery for the pole barn. And there they are, everyone. 32-foot long trusses delivered. I reserved a man lift for this work, so early the next day I was off to the rental shop, picked up this man lift, and brought it to the work site as early as possible, obviously to make the most out of the time that I've rented the machine for. My used pickup truck, which I bought from a local landscaping contractor, was more than up to the task for pulling and hauling this man lift around. And there's a shot of my dad, who I've already indicated has come out to help me for these couple of days installing the trusses. Before we get into the man lift and the details in terms of installing these trusses, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my father. I think I've mentioned a bit about him in a previous video where he showed up and I was working on the walls, I think. In a nutshell, he's a retired executive, trained as an engineer at Canada's McGill University, a civil engineer by training, and he's very comfortable around a work site like this. The work he was involved in was transmissions and the application of heavy machinery in resource extraction projects around Canada. He is now 82 years old. He is obviously moves a little bit slower now, and he perhaps is a little bit grumpier than he was in his early days. And what you see here in this video, and I'm going to address this issue right up front, is that he refused to wear the safety harness that was provided to us for the man lift. I went through this with him over and over again. He also owned his own company where he had to ensure his employees were following safety procedures, and I've been to that company many times in the past, and they all followed their safety procedures quite effectively, as did my father 20 and 30 years ago. But he refused to put on that safety harness, and I relented. I needed to get this work done, and so we moved forward with my father in the basket, operating the man lift without his safety harness. Now, another disclaimer of sorts for the video. The footage you are watching right now at this moment is at normal speed. As you can see, we're not moving at warp speed, and nor does this man lift allow you to move at a very fast rate. However, having said that, we are brand new to using this man lift. I found the operator's manual online as well as an instructional video. I watched them and read them and shared those with my father, so we were as prepped as possible without any actual practical application in terms of using this type of machine. But again, slowly, baby steps, and you can start to figure it out. The control pad for the operator inside the basket is perhaps not the most user-friendly control panel that I've seen. I've only seen others in videos that have joysticks. This is literally a control panel where you control each boom independently and with buttons. So It's slow to learn how to use, but once we were able to figure out how to work that control pad, we started to install a truss approximately every 30 minutes. Now let me finish my thought concerning the speed of the video. As I mentioned earlier, this is on normal speed. However, if I am to run the installation process at normal speed, the entire video would probably be about 3 hours long. Not good for anybody. So I use a lot of fast motion in this video update so that we can get through the entire installation process as it unfolded over that 2-day period. Now in fast motion you can see how we maneuver the trusses into position. This is of course the first truss. You'll see that I've attached a guide wire to one end. My father then raises the truss up above the height of the walls, and that allows me to swivel that truss around and get it ready for landing it in the correct space. And once that is landed, you'll see me moving ladders around here. I spent a lot of time over those 2 days moving the ladder around up and down 10 to 12 feet and securing the ends of the truss into position, as well as any center anchor points that we had, for example, here on the end wall, while my father waits patiently in the basket. I'm in the basket now, giving my dad a little bit of a break. And I wanted to slow it down here again to regular speed to give you a flavor for the speed and the sounds in terms of the machine. The crew at the rental shop told me that that screeching sound was normal and not to worry about it. Okay. I'm using the man lift here to install the block bracing between the first and the second trusses. The block serves two immediate functions. Number one, it creates the correct spacing between the first and the second trusses up top. And second, it is some of the initial bracing that goes in between the trusses. There's a heck of a lot more bracing to go in, but this is one of the first steps. Make sure I hit the right buttons now. With the second truss, we attached the block bracing on the ground instead of doing it while in the basket 15 feet in the air. This starts to save some time, and it's these little things that you start to learn and figure out as you start to install something like trusses using a piece of equipment like this man lift. trusses is all we were able to do on the first day. It did take us some time to become familiar with this man lift, and we really didn't get started putting the trusses in place till about noon on that day, and by 2:30 my dad was pretty tired and the weather was hot, it was sunny, so he needed to take a break and call it a day. I don't know if everybody can see that, but Blue's water bowl is frozen. So we had a nice cold night right around the freezing mark. And yeah, we got a little ice in Blue's water bowl. There we go. It's the start of the second day. We are refreshed, we've had a good night's sleep, and perhaps most importantly for my father, the forecast for the day is for cooler temperatures and some overcast skies. Okay, let's get back to the details concerning the installation process. You'll see there are all those brackets or cleats sticking up from the header beam that runs across the top of each wall. That's where I'm screwing the truss into position. Those are positioned exactly or approximately on 4-foot centers for the trusses. There are 13 trusses for the 48-foot span of the building. And so those are the initial places or the initial points where the trusses are secured. So it's on those two ends of the truss at those block points, and then again that center block up top that my father attaches when he gets that truss, or when we decide that the truss is in position and ready to be screwed down. It's also time that I told you a little bit more about this man lift. It is a Bil Jax 3522A boom lift. It's electric. Its maximum height, I believe, is about 35 feet. When fully extended, it can lift items horizontally out about 22 feet. And its maximum load for this model that is rotational, you've seen us rotating the trusses using this man lift, is about 600 pounds if I remember correctly. So these trusses are each about 225 pounds. My father's roughly 200 pounds, so we are well clear of that load limit for this type of man lift. Even novices like my dad and I started to develop a rhythm, and we really started to motor through the installation of these trusses. However, at this stage in the process on the second day with the man lift, I still wasn't sure whether or not we would get the 13 trusses installed, or if I'd have to keep the man lift for a third day. This was not horrible. However, the man lift cost approximately $350 Canadian each day that I had it on site. The footprint of the man lift was 10 feet by 11 feet with the feet fully extended. You will have seen through this video that we would put up about 3 or 4 trusses, and then we would move the man lift towards the what is the doorway of the building itself. We'd move the man lift maybe 15 or 20 feet and then continue with the next 3 to 4 trusses until we got to this end point where the man lift is reattached to the pickup truck, taken outside or off of the foundation pad, and then of course the feet are put back into position, and it's self-leveling. So it didn't matter that it was on gravel or if it was on the foundation, the machine is self-leveling. We managed to get all the trusses installed during the 2-day rental limit for the man lift, so that was a great success in that regard. It was also fantastic having my dad around to help with this work, otherwise I'm not exactly sure how I would have done it or possibly organized it with one of my buddies, but again, fantastic that my dad could help out. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, and share, and come back for the next one where I start installing all the purlins and other braces for the roof system. Take care.